Samson ends up losing the bed. He makes a riddle. Because the enemy gets to him through his wife. You got to understand something. You can't play games with the enemy just like you can't play games with God. You'll end up losing in the end. You can't play both sides of the fence with this thing, ladies and gentlemen. You can't say that you're a Christian for a little while and then decide to back off and be on the other side for just a little while. God told John in the book of Revelation, he said, I would, you write this to the church, I would that you be hot or whether you cold, but because you're lukewarm, I can't do anything with you. So you can't play both sides of it. You've either got to be on the Lord's side or you're going to be on the enemy side. Amen. Somebody help me preach this morning. So 3 days go by. The Philistines can't figure out the riddle. So they tell his wife. You remember he's got a new wife. He said, you entice him. Get him to tell us the riddle. If you don't, we're going to burn your house. We're going to burn your father's house.
Yes, that's what it said.
I want you to understand something this morning. This is normally not the type of preaching that I do. I'm uncomfortable with this type of preaching, telling a story and doing these things because I like running around and I like shouting. And that's just who I am. Y'all know that. So I'm trying to help you and teach you through some of this stuff. I want you to know that the enemy's always plotting against you.
Yes.
As soon as they could not figure this out, Ruth, they began to tell the person that was closest to him.
Yes. Yep.
See what you can do.
Yeah.
Listen, the enemy will use anything that's close to you to get to you.
That's right. Come on.
My God. If he has to use people to get to you, he will use people to get to you.
Yes.
If he has to use family to get to you, he will use family to get to you.
Right.
If he has to use your best friend to get to you, he will use your best friend to get to you.
Yes.
When you walk out that door this morning, I want you to know the enemy is already trying to figure out a way that he can bring you down. Amen.
Yes.
And even if he's got to use someone close to you to do it, he'll do it. You got to remember that even though Samson is strong, he still has a weakness.
Yes.
Chapter 14, verse 16, and Samson's wife wept before him and said, thou dost hate me, that you don't love me no more. You can imagine that. The men and women, the husbands and wives, y'all know how that is. Girlfriend, boyfriends. Well, if you don't do this, you don't love me. You don't love me no more. If you love me, you do this.
Come on, right.
Come on.
Hallelujah.
That's what's happening. And the woman's going up to him and she's saying, you know what? She said, that riddle you told the Philistines, that riddle that you told them, she said, why don't you just tell it to me? He says, I can't do that. She said, honey, now I'm your wife now.
Come on.
Come on.
That's right.
You better be careful who you get in bed with.
Come on.
I'm your wife now. Just tell it to me. He said, I ain't even told my mom and daddy the riddle. You think I'm going to tell you? And the Bible said she began to weep before him. And she wept before him 7 days. All during their feast. The Bible said that it came to pass. He couldn't stand it no more. He waited till the last day.
Right. Come on.
Waited till the last day. Finally she got to him. And he told her the riddle. And then she begins to tell the riddle to the children of her people. Now you find out, now we get to Samson's second feat of strength. He goes and he loses the bet. So now he's got to go find some changes of garments. He's got to go bring these sheets. He's got to go bring these garments because he's got to pay off his bet. So he says, I'll pay off my bet. I'll just kill 30 people and I'll bring them to you. That's what he did.
30 Philistines, yeah.
Kills 30 Philistines, gets their garments, brings them back. He's upset. He's mad. So after he does this, he decides, I'm just going to take my ball and go home. Yeah. They kind of make a fool out of him. So he goes back to his father's house. because he got made a fool out of. This big strong man, this Israelite. This one that thought he was going to make a fool out of us.
Come on.
We're going to send him back where he came from.
Yeah.
Come on.
So Samson bows his head, he takes his ball, he goes home, leaves his wife, everything.
Yeah.
Right.
But he said, but Samson's wife was given to his companion, who he used as his friend.
Mm-hmm.
You remember, he took his ball, he went home.
Yeah.
But Samson's wife was given to his friend. He was in love with his new wife. And now they give his new wife to his friend. How many men I got in the house? Raise your hand. Boys, that's a problem.
That's right.
That's a problem. You get first married and you're ready to be with your wife and you find out your best friend's got her now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. Especially after you done paid for half the wedding. You just took your wife. You're ready to consummate your marriage. All of a sudden you find out that your friend has her. Now the Bible don't say what happened to the friend. You can just guess. I don't know if Samson let him off scot-free or if he didn't. But I don't care how much Holy Ghost you got, that's going to do something to you.
Right.
Come on.
Well, I wish somebody helped me this morning.
That's right.
I don't care how much Holy Ghost you got, that's going to do something to you. That's like the soldiers that go off to war and they're gone and they're gone and they're gone. And then when they come back home, they found out their friend has been living with their wife the whole time.
Come on. That's right.
Well, I can sense somebody don't want me to get real with it this morning, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's exactly what happened.
Amen.
He leaves and finds out something's been going on behind his back when he leaves.
That's right.
The Bible said it came to pass after a little while, at the time of the wheat harvest, that Samson, he gathers himself up and he goes gets a kid, which he goes gets a sacrifice. Gathers himself up and he goes gets a kid, and he visited his wife with that kid. And he said, I will go into my wife into a chamber. In other words, honey, I'm going to tell you I'm sorry. I'm going to get you something. I'll get you a gift. We're going to kiss and make up. I know it wasn't your fault that they gave my friend to you. I understand that. Let's just be husband and wife now. He comes back ready to go into the chamber, brings her a gift. You know how men are. Some wives only get a gift when we've done something wrong.
That's right.
Well, I won't get too far into that. Some of the men don't get mad. Honey, I'm sorry I brought you something. I'm ready to live my life with you. Everything's going to be all right. And her father said, I verily thought that you had utterly hated her. Therefore I gave her to your companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her instead of the one you chose. Now, this is where the life of Samson begins to take a drastic turn. The enemy he had got close to, he sat down with and had supper with, has now pushed him over the edge.
Right.
My.
Right.
And Samson said concerning them, I now shall be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. In other words, what he is saying is, don't blame me for what I'm about to do.
Yes.
Come on.
Amen.
Well.
That's what he said. Yes.
In other words, you have pushed me too far. I am at my limit. Let me tell you what I am not going to be responsible for my actions from here on out.
It's a lie. From the devil.
And Samson went and he caught 300 foxes. Yeah, let me tell you something. That lets you know what kind of man Samson was.
Right.
A man that could go out and catch 300 foxes. You ever watched a fox cross the road? What was that? I think it was a fox. They're that fast. Imagine a man that can catch 300 of them. And not only catch 300 of them, but get them and tie their tails together.
Amen.
That's some kind of man right there.
Yes.
He took firebrands and turned tail to tail, and he put a firebrand in the midst between two tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go, burning up into the standing corn of the Philistines, and burn up both the shocks and also the standing corn with the vineyards and the olives. When I was a kid, this was always my favorite part of the story. Mama would read it to me, and I'd make her read this part over and over and over. Something about the foxtails being lit together. I just loved it. Maybe it was for a reason. I've never heard anyone preach this part of Samson. I've never heard it preached like this. I didn't steal it from nobody, but I want you to notice this. All this drama that he has with his wife is happening in the time of harvest.
Yes. Yes.
Samson, y'all, I feel the Holy Ghost. Samson gets those foxes. He ties those firebrands tail to tail. He lets them go through the field, through the harvest. The harvest was the most important time of the year to the enemy. He set the foxes loose in the cornfields, in the olive vineyards. The Bible said that he burned up both shocks, and that was the part that they had already harvested and to let to dry out and to ripen. Here's what the Lord gave me. When are we going to get fed up and set fire to the devil's harvest?
Come on.
Well, somebody got to help me preach this morning. When are we going to get fed up and set fire to the enemy's harvest? I'm going to tell you right now, church, we have let the enemy rule over us long enough. He has came in, he has took our families, he has took our children, he has took our harvest. All the time we have sat back and let it happen. And Samson said, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I know what I've got to do. I'm going to take the most critical thing you've got and I'm going to set it on fire. We got to get ready to get together at a church, folks, and we got to set the enemy's harvest on fire.
Yes.
Well, that's more like it.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Look what he's done to our churches.
Come on.
Look, come on.
Amen.
There ain't no reason that there ought to be 1,000 churches within 50 miles.
Come on.
That's right.
Amen.
But they are.
Yes.
You know why? It's simply because people can't get along.
Come on.
Come on.
Right.
Well, there's more churches on the mountain. There's a church
Corner. Yeah, come on.
every 5 minutes. You can find a church.
Amen.
And Franklin County, same way. Everywhere you go, there's a church. I'm not against church. Ain't nothing wrong against church. But let me tell you something. When churches start popping up everywhere, that means somebody can't get along with somebody and they had to go start their own church.
That's right. 20 people.
Come on.
Each one.
And people can't get together anymore, and the enemy is using that to his advantage. But if the church would, well, I feel the Holy Ghost this morning. But if the church would just get on fire, I said if the church would just get on fire, we would see the harvest come back into the house of the Lord. Somebody clap your hands. Somebody praise the Lord. Somebody say, I'm going to get on fire this morning. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm going to get on fire this morning. Glory to God. Somebody ought to be shouting. What I'm saying is, I'm saying this. Set yourself on fire. There is not much time left. Samson said, I'm not playing around. You wait and see what I'm going to do. He begins to go on the warpath. It's time that the church get back on the warpath.
Amen. Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Let me ask you this.
Thank you, Lord.
Do you really think the enemy's just sitting around like we are?
No, he's not. Come on, brother.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to do a little pastoring. Do you really think that the enemy is... Well, whatever happens, happens.
That's right. Jesus.
Well, come on, church.
Right.
Do you think the enemy has got complacent? No, he's not complacent. Listen, he has got his forces together, He is on the warpath more now than he's ever been before. And the church does not see it. The church does not understand it. And we come into the house of God and we just sit there and we don't do what we're supposed to do. We don't do what God has called us to do. And that's why we got people that are falling away from the church, because the church has become complacent.
Yes, Lord. That's right. Yeah.
The enemy is not sitting around.
That's right. Come on.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Come on.
Yep.
Amen.
The enemy's not just sitting around.
After the children. Come on.
He's after these.
That's right, brother. Come on. Preach.
He's after these.
Preach.
Every day. Every day. Every day. He's got something that's killing them. He's got something that's pulling them out of the fold.
That's right.
Thank you, Lord.
And all the while we just, blessed Jesus.
Touch him, Lord Jesus.
My God, get on fire.
Lord, have mercy. Jesus.
Listen, anything you do it with everything you got. Listen, the enemy said, who done this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know what that means? He made an impact on the harvest.
Yeah.
Oh, now y'all didn't hear me. I said he made an impact on the harvest. When is the last time the devil got up and said, who done that?
Yes.
Come on.
Who is it? Who is it that took some of mine back? Who is? Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost. Who is it that took some of mine away from me? Who is it that burned my field? What was it? What child of God has done this?
Yes.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
They said Samson. He took a wife and he got mad because, read in verse 6, chapter, whatever chapter I'm in, 15, 14, I don't know, 15 I think. The Philistines said, who done this? They said, Samson. Well, why did he do it? Well, he took one of us as, he got a wife and he got mad because somebody gave his wife to his best friend and then the Philistines come up and they burn her and her father with fire.
Yeah.
After Samson sets their harvest on fire. Listen, anything that you do to make the enemy mad, don't you think he won't strike back?
He's going to put his attention.
He's
Right.
not just going to lay down and take it.
Amen.
And Samson said unto them, listen to this. They go, they burn her wife, they burn his wife, and they burn her father. This was the woman he loved. Come on.
Yes.
This was where his heart was. It was his first love. It was his wife. I mean, never mind that she was the enemy, he still loved her.
That's right.
He was still close to her. And you know what Samson says? He says this. Brother David, he said, and Samson said unto them, though you have done this, yet I will be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. You know what that means? In other words, you think what I did with the foxes was bad.
Come on.
I'm not going to stop till I kill all of them.
Come on. Come on.
Y'all just did something to make me mad and I burnt your fields up. Now you took somebody from me. Now wait till you see what I do.
Come on.
That's right.
When are we going to get that upset that God took our people from us?
The devil. The devil.
We've got people that have been in, listen, if everybody that had ever been in this church, that grew up in this church, would come back to this church, we wouldn't have to worry about building no fellowship hall. We'd have to build a new building.
That's right.
It wouldn't hold them all.
Amen.
And I can look around and I can see people that ought to be here.
Right.
Yes.
That are here when certain things happen, but they leave when they're not.
That's true.
Preach him, Lord.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and get real with you. I'm going to take my coat off and preach.
That's
Touch
right.
him, Lord Jesus.
Dedication is what I'm talking about.
Amen.
And then people wonder why they struggle. People wonder why they go through hard times. People wonder why the enemy is just on
Yes.
their door all the time. It's because they're not getting enough to fight him off with you.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right.
Preach him, Lord.
The Bible said he slaughtered that bunch. And listen, you better be prepared when you overcome one thing, the enemy's got something coming right behind it.
That's right.
Listen, he made the enemy mad. So his people, you got to get this. After that, Ruth, his people comes. They said, look, do you have any idea what you've done?
Right.
The Philistines rule over us, Samson. And all you're doing is make it harder on your people. So we're going to take you and we're going to deliver you back to them. I'll tell you how that turned out in just a little while.
Amen.
Let me tell you something. It's bad when your own people turn against you.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Preach him, Lord. Come
Bam.
on. Right.
I wish I was preaching to somebody that knew what I was talking
Come
about.
on.
It's bad when you have a best friend that betrays you behind your back.
Yes.
It's bad when you have family that turn around and start talking about you. I feel I'm getting on somebody right now. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. It's bad, and it's even worse when you have church people that start backbiting and start talking about you behind your back. And you're trying to do something for God, and you're trying to grow the kingdom, and you're trying to live for God, and all they're doing is criticizing you. Every move you'll make, it's bad. That hurt don't go away.
That's right. That's right.
Touch him, Lord.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Come on.
And let me tell you something. I hadn't been criticized from other churches. I got criticized from my own churches.
Come on.
That's right.
From
Yeah.
my own people.
Yes.
Come on.
I don't preach and talk about everybody else.
Right.
But it's bad when your own people, people that believe like you, people you grew up with, people that you went to church with, people that handed you money and said, Lord bless you, people that patted you on the back and said good preaching, and then walked out in the parking lot and talked about you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I know what I'm talking about. That's a good message, brother. God bless you. There's a good message, brother. Here's my tithes. And then go out in the parking lot and start talking behind your back. You say he don't know what he's talking about. Let me tell you what. I absolutely know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to shut up before I get any further than that.
Bless you, Jesus. Jesus.
Some pain can only be taken care of through the Spirit.
That's right.
Yes.
Samson said, go ahead. Bind me up. Take me down there. And the Bible said when they came to, he let his people bind him up. He said, go ahead, y'all can bind me up. He said, but I appreciate if y'all don't kill me. I just appreciate if y'all don't kill me. He just playing with him, that's all he's doing. Because he knew they couldn't kill him. He just, Samson knew, let me tell you something. Samson knew when the Spirit of the Lord came up on him what he could do.
That's right.
He trusted the Lord. He trusted the Lord that when that Spirit came upon him and he had that strength, he knew that there wasn't nothing could stop him.
That's right.
He said, y'all go ahead, but don't kill me. So, they bind him up. They deliver him to the enemy. Then the Bible says, and when he came to live, the Philistines shouted against him. Here they come. They're delivering him to the Philistines. The Philistines shouted against him, and listen to this. The Spirit of the Lord.
Yes. Amen.
Oh, my God. The Spirit of the Lord came on him.
Yes.
And the cords that were on his arms became as flax that were burnt with fire. And the bands were loosed off his hands. Somebody better help me preach. Listen, when the Spirit of the Lord comes upon you, anything that's holding you has to let you go. Oh, when the Spirit of the Lord comes upon you, anything that's holding you will have to let you go. Had to let him go.
Amen.
So now here they are with a loosed Samson.
Oh, yes.
And he found a new jawbone of an ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And put it forth in his hand, and he took it. And he slew 1,000 men therewith. And Samson said with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps. With the jawbone of an ass I have slain 1,000 men. In other words, when the Philistines said, oh, there he is, we're going to get him, Samson. Samson picked up the first thing he could find, and he laid them out, heaps upon heaps of men. And he just kept them stacking. I feel the Holy Ghost. He just kept stacking them up, one on top of each other. I'm telling you, these ain't men that were just regular men. These were men that were fighters. These were soldiers. These were soldiers for the enemy. And Samson is standing there with nothing but a jawbone with a few teeth in it, and he's laying them out one by one. He's going through them like wood, like an axe through hot butter. He's taking them down. He's taking them down and stacking them up and stacking them up and stacking them up. And when he gets done, he's just... Can you imagine one man?
Oh, man.
Can you fathom that? One man
Making a difference.
killing 1,000 with his bare hands. You say, well, if they'd have had guns, it'd have been different. Let me tell you something. If God's on your side, it didn't matter if you'd had a gun or not.
Amen.
That's right. That's right.
Amen. Hallelujah.
I don't care. 1,000 men still a 1,000 men. I don't care how you look at it.
That's right.
Amen. Hallelujah.
He stacked them up, heap upon heap, and he cast away that jawbone. And the Bible said that he was sore thirst.
I'm sure.
I guess you would be like, well, I'm a little bit thirsty. I just killed 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Wonder where there's something to drink at. So you gotta go back to the beginning to really understand this story. Because see, the Bible says in chapter 13, what we read last week when he was first born, God said he would begin to deliver his people.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
So did not say them that Samson would bring them total deliverance. But listen, he sure got a good start on it.
Amen.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He sure got a good start on it. And he would have had even better start on it. And he may have went ahead and delivered them all the way out if it hadn't been for his weakness in his flesh.
That's right. Yes.
Because he had the strength to do it.
Yes, he did.
But the Bible said he cast away that jawbone. He was thirsty. He called on the Lord and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hand of thy servant. And now I shall die for thirst and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised. In other words, what he's saying, he said, after all this, please don't let me get thirsty and just die right here. Please don't let. I would have rathered one of them kill me than me die thirsty.
Right here.
Die because I ain't got no water. I killed all these men and now I'm going to sit out here and die because I'm thirsty.
Right.
But God put a clave in that jawbone and said, there you go.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on. Hallelujah. Glory. Thank you.
Amen. Hallelujah.
The Lord provided him exactly what he needed. Provided him with water. And the Bible said, and he drunk and his spirit came again and he revived, and wherefore he called the name, therefore, Icanor, which is in Leah until this day. And listen to this. Now you got to understand this. Write this scripture right here. It don't mean anything to a lot of people, but listen. He has major victories, and this one was probably the greatest victory he had until the end of his life. In verse 20, he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years.
Yes.
Yes.
It's his time.
Yeah.
So after this, so you got to understand something, Brian. After this,
Mm-hmm.
the Philistines said, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Just don't bother no more.
Yeah.
I mean, look what he's done. He's went through us like a buzzsaw. Anything we've tried to do to outsmart him, he's got away with it.
Amen.
He's done already took our livelihood, done burned up everything we had.
Yeah.
He done killed 1,000 of us with a jawbone, no less.
Right, man.
Let's just leave him alone for
Yeah.
You ever come through? You went to one at school when you was little, and you just had that one person you just left alone. Nobody bothered because they were scared of him. That's kind of like it was. So the Bible said he judged Israel 20 years. Up till this time, it was Samson's greatest victory. 1,000 men killed with the jawbone of a donkey. It's hard to fathom it when you really think about it.
Yes.
But at this time, everybody stand. At this time, he's right in the will of God. Listen to me. He's right in the will of God. God put a hollow place in that jawbone, Brother David, to give him strength once again. God gives him victory and then gives him something to sustain him.
Yes.
How many of you are glad for victory tonight?